Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the jam session of these two geeks bring to you their WWE Speculator Champions of the World. I am Matthew Klein. I'm here as a guest today with our regular co-hosts, Alex and Joe. Gentlemen, thank you so much for letting me come on and completely bogart the opening of the show.
You're very welcome.
We just lost our jobs.
That
was great.
So, listen, for those of you who obviously can't see us because we don't release this on video, my camera's been flicking in and out, so I don't know if the boys saw me just lose my shit at Matthew's intro, but that was fantastic.
That was really good.
Anytime, guys. I'm happy to.
Yeah.
I'm always happy to pre-record if you want something just for going forward.
I'm happy because, well, again, it's Elimination Chamber. We're on the road to WrestleMania. I am Joe, and then there's Alex too. And
are you pointing? Because that would be really awkward.
No, I wasn't.
It would
but
be.
It's just, it's such a fun time to be on the road to WrestleMania. Even though most of us are like, oh, all right, well, we can predict where this is going. It's like we're smarts. XYZ means no. This is the first time in history I can safely say I ain't got a clue. I'm going to give you my thoughts, but I really don't have a clue. They might be completely wrong. And I'm cool with it. I'm totally cool with it. There's one that I think I am dead set, stuck on, and I don't think they'll deter. But they could, because I heard somebody give me, a rebuttal on it, one of my friends, and I was like, yeah, that's a good point. And, it's never been that. There's always been... especially the lead up to WrestleMania is usually cookie cutter. You're usually like, well, here's what we're building towards, and it's for sure. And this year, it's like, I ain't got a clue. I don't. I have an idea of a framework, but I don't think I'm right. I don't know.
And that's exciting,
Yeah, that's what you want.
You're absolutely right, Joe.
You don't want to be able to, oh, it's going to be this.
Predict.
Oh, it's going to be this.
Exactly.
It's more fun when you don't, and you don't have a reasonable guess as to what's going on. Now, that said, I 100% have guesses that, I think at this point we all have an idea as to what it is that we're going to go with.
Well, the interesting thing too is, to your point, Joe. And there have been arguments for this in the past. Generally, there's the Royal Rumble, and then there's WrestleMania, and then there's a month and a half to 2 months in between, where because you already know the destination thanks to the Royal Rumble, you kind of are just sort of in this lame duck period where they are trying to very obviously manufacture phony drama to make it seem like this path to WrestleMania doesn't happen. Yes. And there have been a few times throughout history where that has worked. I remember 2009, I think it was 2008 actually, where John Cena challenged Randy Orton for the WWE title at Elimination Chamber, not at WrestleMania, even though he won the title, which was so stupid. It was terrible. Kudos for thinking outside the box, but it did not go well. And they'll have a number one contenders match. In February, pay-per-view, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan on the way to 31. I remember that.
It was, Fastlane though. It wasn't.
It was Fastlane. But pretty much that's all. We all knew what the outcome was going to be 99% of the time. You were just sort of paddling. And this is one of the first years I can recall where you really have a lot of cool intrigue.
Other than the only year I can remember in recent memory, we're talking 10 to 12 years memory, was when Cena defended the title in the Elimination Chamber the year Batista challenged him at WrestleMania 26. All of a sudden, Cena won. It was shades of, New Year's Revolution, but all of a sudden McMahon was like, wow, now you're going to defend your title against this man. And it was Batista who came out with the spotlight and just destroyed him. in like 3 minutes,
which was great.
Won the title, which was fantastic.
Anytime Cena gets destroyed after an elimination chamber,
but you knew all it meant was, all right, Big John's getting it back at WrestleMania. There's just no way about it. But they still made you believe. They still made you think it was possible. And that was also the same year when Michaels came up through the Elimination Chamber and kicked the Undertaker and cost him the title, which was great. So that was a year where like the Elimination Chamber was so much better than WrestleMania, because you're like, wow, this is like all pivotal. And then WrestleMania was like, oh, this is cookie cutter, exactly back to form. You know what I mean? But that's it. Other than that, then that was what? That was WrestleMania 26. I don't know what year that would be. Maybe 2010. I was like, I can't remember another time where there's been an actual, seed of doubt like this. Every match on the card has a seed of doubt this time around.
Yeah,
every match.
Does it though?
Great.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think Cody and Roman doesn't have a seed of doubt. I think that's going to happen.
So wait, are we talking about a seed of doubt for WrestleMania or for Elimination Chamber?
We're talking about a seed of doubt for Elimination Chamber, but yes, it does kind of bleed over into WrestleMania. Like, I mean, I do think there's a plan for WrestleMania, but I think it's very fluid. I think they're booking fluid. I don't think they are like 100% heels dug into the sand type of deal. I think if like the crowd reaction was like absolutely insane, they'd pivot again right now at this point. I honestly think you have a creative team that is willing to listen to the audience and go, all right, they don't want this. Let's see what we can do. Because again, we make you money. Yeah. Like, period.
We do. And they make us spend our money.
Right.
So my question to you, I want to give a quick little bit of backstory, if that's okay for our listeners.
You go.
On the Elimination Chamber itself. Because, Alex, I also don't know how familiar are you, Alex, with the Elimination Chamber? Have you watched many Elimination Chamber matches before?
I know the concept. I know the concept of it. And I know at one point Edge was in 2 in one night, lost one, won one.
Yes, that's one of the best ones.
That was
ever.
Amazing. I think that was like 08, 09, 08.
Yeah, that's the only one I've watched because it came up on YouTube at one point. So I was like, I'll let it play.
So basically, the Elimination Chamber was created for Survivor Series 2002 to kind of revamp that big event after sort of the old team versus team 4-on-4, 4-on-5 elimination matches have been sort of dead in the water. And so they wanted to come up with a big, bold, brand new match structure to kind of innovate and get people excited. So this is something like 6 tons of steel, 3 miles of chain originally,
2 miles of chain,
and it's gone through
6 tons.
That's it. And they've now come up with a newer version that hurts a little bit less. But you basically have 4 pods that have quote unquote plexiglass or bulletproof glass that surround you. Yeah. 4 people go into those pods. 2 people start the match, and every 2 or 5 minutes, quote unquote, in random, another pod enters and another opponent enters the fray, and you do this for up to 6 people. Now, what's cool about it is that the cage itself, you can go over the top rope and still land on a portion of the cage. You can climb up, and it's got kind of a dome that you can climb around and jump off of. You can climb and jump off top of the pods. It's really exciting, and you can be eliminated at any time. So unlike a War Games match where you have to wait until 25 minutes when every single person on each team has entered, this one you could lose in 2 minutes, or you could have all 6 people there at the very end. You can only lose by pinfall or submission, or I suppose referee stoppage if need be. There have been 32. Right.
Yeah. What you said was it's bulletproof. It's Lexapod or Lexaprod or whatever. Lexapod glass. Whatever they call it. It might be bulletproof, but it's certainly not shatterproof, because some reason every Elimination Chamber, somebody breaks through.
Somebody goes through it.
With ease. So I'm like, this is not bulletproof.
It's not bulletproof. No. But it was a great tagline. There have been 32 chamber matches. The event
That many?
became 32 over 22 years. And
Oh, yeah, 'cause women and
basically, they started making the February pay-per-view centered around this match. At
Yes.
first, it was called No Way Out.
Yep.
They adopted that moniker, and it became the home of the Elimination Chamber every
Yep.
year. And then you would have the Elimination Chamber event itself. The
Yep.
women first had their original Elimination Chamber match a couple years ago in Saudi Arabia. When it was held there in, I believe it was a February event. So there have only been like 2 or 3 women's chamber matches as far as I know. So it's been around over 2 decades, which makes me feel really old because I remember watching the very first one at home.
2002.
Shawn Michaels, 2002 at the Garden. Shawn Michaels actually won his second match back after 4 years and won the World Heavyweight title.
Worst attire ever. His worst ring attire of all time.
Gimmick of all time. So that's sort of the history of it. And now the Elimination Chamber is used as sort of the match that gets you a world title spot for whichever championship has not been declared as by the Royal Rumble winner. So this is somebody's last chance to main event WrestleMania, quote unquote main event WrestleMania, for a title that's either the WWE Universal Championship or in this case, World Heavyweight title.
You're basically going for the cast off, the second choice belt is what you're doing.
You're in the loser bracket. This is the loser bracket.
The loser bracket. It's either that or they used to do it that like the champion would defend the belt going into WrestleMania, which I used to love. Because my favorite chamber of all time, I think it was 2017, was when Cena went in, the defending champion, but Bray Wyatt walked out, the title holder, with AJ Styles and Bray Wyatt at the end. I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't think that's probably my favorite chamber of all time, to be honest, because it was so unlikely that John Cena was going to be eliminated before the last elimination. And he got eliminated clean. Sister Abigail, boom, right in the ring. And then you had Bray Wyatt, AJ Styles stare down. And I was like, oh shit. And then the announcers.
Yeah. It was incredible. I think for me, my favorite chamber match is the one that Alex, you mentioned earlier, which was the year that Edge lost it in the first chamber match of the night.
So
or I think it was the SmackDown roster version, and then in the Raw version later that night, he knocks out Kofi Kingston on his way to the ring, gets in the pod and locks himself in.
That was crazy because he walked in WWE champion to open up the night. Jeff Hardy pinned him first. So he was eliminated first. And then he had a wig out and flipped out and went backstage. And you're like, well, I think that's all we're going to see of Edge tonight. That was weird. And then all of a sudden came the world title for Raw at the end of the night. And Kofi's on his way, nuding himself all the way down. And then Edge just beat the shit out of him and just threw himself in the pod.
That was Jamaican crazy Kofi Kingston. That was
you're right.
The accent, I think.
Yeah, so it was 2009. So like he beat him up and then threw himself in the pod, and the announcers are like, wait a minute. And that was like one of the most booking of like, let's just go with it because the rules have just changed.
Well,
but it was so good because Edge won the title to end the night.
Well,
that was amazing.
And the middle of the match was another great Cena spot where Cena took 3 finishers from guys, including Edge's spear, and Edge, I think, pinned Cena to eliminate him halfway through the match. And it was truly one of those, oh my God, Super Cena just lost.
That was the first.
No clue who was going to win. Absolutely. And it was one of those, I don't know who's going to win this now. It was great.
Was it Triple H and Taker was left? No, I don't know if Taker was left. But Triple H was
left. Rey Mysterio was left. Edge was left.
Was it Triple H?
Might have been Triple. Oh, I think it was actually Jericho.
Oh, okay.
It was Jericho who was in there.
All right.
Yeah, because I remember it was 619 into a code breaker, and then Edge hit the spear, and Edge pinned him.
That's right,
at that
because
point.
Triple H was in with Jeff Hardy in the WWE title.
Yeah,
that earlier in the night, and Triple H became
earlier in the night
WWE champion. Yes, I remember that. But yeah, no, you're right. That was one of those things where you're like, did Cena just lose? And you were like shocked, like like completely aghast. But I don't think it was ever bigger than when Bray Wyatt just Sister Abigail'd him in the middle of the ring. I was like, is he going down? And 1, 2, 3. I'm like, wait, what?
It was a great moment.
Oh God, that's my all-time favorite. But then it's followed up with the worst WrestleMania main event, maybe of all time, with Randy versus Bray Wyatt. Ugh,
there were some big
terrible.
creative swings taken that did not connect.
But
so anyway, that is some of the history. That leads
it's
us
an
to today.
amazing match. I put it up there with the Hell in the Cell. I actually, to be honest, I prefer it more than the Hell in a Cell. I like the elimination aspect. I like the pod aspect. I like the structure itself. I think it's more conducive. Like, you know, you got like Morrison, Kofi, Daniel Bryan, the people that can use the structure to their advantage do some amazing things. Like, it's a fun situation. It's the Royal Rumble inside a chamber is what I kind of look at it with, because you got the pods and you got the countdown and you got the clock. So, like, besides the Royal Rumble, it's probably one of my favorite matches, period. It grew on me big time. It wasn't at first, because I don't think the first chamber was I don't think it was great. I think you had an idea that either Michaels or Triple H was winning it, the first chamber match. So, you know what I mean?
I mean, I didn't think Shawn Michaels was winning that one. I thought he'd get to the end.
Well, you were there live.
But
so.
No, I was not. I was not there live. I was living in Philadelphia, where I grew up, and watched on pay-per-view. I wish I was there. I have a friend who was there live.
That Dutch boy haircut with the brown, the
poopy pants
attire with the poopy pants and the cowboy boot. It was like the worst attire of all time. With
Terrible.
The opening ring gear, like the opening chaps and the sequins and everything, which were cool. But once he took those off, you're like, oh, this is brutal. And you're like, what did you do to your hair, Sean? But anyways, it was a good moment. It's still a great moment. But regardless, so we have, I would not say a predictable card this time, and we'll go through them one by one.
Okay, so I actually disagree with you. I think at least 50% of the card is somewhat predictable.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
All right, so I think I'll go in. I've got the list for the tag team women's championship. Sorry, two different, right? So there's two different non-elimination chamber matches, and then you've got the men's and the women's chambers.
We'll use the men's last. Okay.
All right. So starting with the tag team match, I don't know and don't care who wins this. Honestly, I think it's Judgment Day versus New Catch, and I'm picking Judgment Day.
That's men's championship. That's not women's.
No, I said it's the tag team, and I said men's tag team. Like, I think the women's championship is Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Okay,
right.
So this one, go ahead and give me your thoughts.
I feel like Judgment Day are going to take it because I don't know what they're doing at Mania, and I think no matter what happens, if they're defending it at Mania, they'll probably lose something there, and then you start to see more of a fracture. But I don't see them losing it right now. I think it's going to be a good match, and I don't know if they'll win clean. But being a casual viewer at best, I had no idea who New Catch were until I was looking up what the matches were for this card.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say Judgment Day is going to take this one. The only, and I mean the only possibility I could see is if R-Truth comes out and costs them the tag titles. That's the only scenario
that's
I could see.
That's the only way they're going to win. Or they're going to lose.
And if you want to shock the audience with something, if you want to give a title change at this show, that is really the only time. This is the only opportunity to do it.
Honestly, Matthew, I think that's what's going to happen. I definitely think. I mean, especially if he flies over. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If R-Truth is there, I think there's a better chance of it.
Agreed.
I don't know if there have been any R-Truth spottings.
No idea.
I hope there have been, because I want R-Truth on every show possible.
He's so good.
He's that man. Well, and what's fascinating is like the knock on Triple H to some level was, oh, we're gonna do away with all the comedy bits, and he was like, no, we're not. We're doing away with all the bad comedy.
Yeah, the bad comedy needs to go.
The bad comedy went away, and R-Truth is on like the run of his career right now.
But the thing is that they don't have all the shit comedy, so when it's good, it really stands out.
It really stands out.
Yeah. I just want new champions, Tom and Nick Mysterio.
Tom and Nick Mysterio. I think that I want a fantasy book here for 2 seconds before we move on to the next match.
Go ahead,
wait,
please.
Before you do that, Joe, who was your pick for the tag team?
Joe, yeah.
Oh, the cynic in me is gonna pick the Judgment Day.
So all three of us.
Okay.
Yeah. The fun fantasy booking for this though is R-Truth costs Judgment Day the tag titles, and he costs them the rematch on like Raw or SmackDown or whatever. And then it's R-Truth versus Damian Priest at WrestleMania.
Oh, I saw this earlier. Yeah.
I could absolutely imagine a scenario where that happens. Has R-Truth ever had a singles match at WrestleMania? I don't think he has.
No.
Like, and you could do it now. Like, the story's right there. If you want to do this, you could do this. So I don't know. You could also do like DIY Miz and R-Truth versus Judgment Day in an 8-person match. The tag titles can be defended separately.
Though. I'm way more interested in the singles match with.
I'm way more interested in the singles match. In all respect, DIY and Miz and all that stuff. But I could see the tag titles being taken off Judgment Day and going in like a crazy multi-team match at Mania instead, and having Priest versus Truth. That's the only other scenario I'm thinking of here, but I'm not going to take a risky bet in Perth, Australia. I'm going to stick with the Judgment Day as well. But
I'm
the
sticking
fantasy
with
book,
Judgment Day.
Yeah,
that's a great call and great shout, though. I like it. If that happens at Mania, I'll be all for it.
I'm not going to be mad if that happens. You know what I mean? Like if they win the match, I'm not mad
if Judgment Day lose. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't see it.
I think this is the match that's going to have the shock, though, if it's going to be anywhere. Rhea Ripley's not losing in Australia.
No.
Yeah, I mean we can say that now. Rhea Ripley's winning that match.
Yeah. Absolutely not. There's no chance in hell of her losing against Nia Jax. Although I'll give them credit. For Raw, they had her destroy the entire women's locker room by herself.
Oh, they're building Nia.
And I like it. I don't mind Nia. Nia needs to build up better than what she's getting built. Like, she needs promo work in the worst freaking way. That Valley Girl promo is terrible.
I agree.
Brutal.
So let me fantasy book real quick on this.
Go ahead.
So what if Nia does beat Rhea, and then Rhea says and Becky wins the Chamber, and now you have Nia versus Becky after Nia had beaten her on the road to Royal Rumble. But then you also have Rhea going, no, I'm getting my rematch, and we have a triple threat match at Mania. It's not terrible. It's not a terrible story. But it's not as good as Rhea versus Becky.
Yeah,
but
this was the one that I locked in for sure. Like, I don't think there's. I would stake my house and my dog on Rhea Ripley walking out as champion.
And it's the main event. This is the final match of the show.
Do you think this will be the final match of the show?
I think this main event.
I think it has to be, because I think
Rhea.
It's
Rhea in country gal.
It's Rhea in Australia. Do you really think
that? It. Yes, I do. We'll talk about it.
Everywhere.
It's going to be the men's chamber. Will be the main event.
No, I think they're going to give Rhea.
Okay. I think it'll be cool if they do.
It's either the first match or it's the last match. It won't be in between. But I think it's the last match.
I think it'll be in between. I think it'll be the semi-main. It'll be the third match.
If you want the biggest pop possible.
Yeah, I think the women's EC is going to be the first match, I think.
I am going to stake my flag that Rhea will be the semi-main right before the men's chamber. I'll stake my
So
flag on that.
that's actually what we're disagreeing on is the placement on the card, not the
Yeah,
match
yeah,
outcome.
Yeah, I
There you
and
go.
that's
enjoy
fine
this.
with
All right,
me.
so if I had to pick what order the matches are going to be in, I'm going
Sure.
women's
chamber.
elimination chamber, tag team, men's, Rhea, and then Rhea Ripley.
And I would just
Nia
reverse
Jax.
the last two. That's it. I agree with everything else.
Wait. Now, because we can get into this now. We've done 2 of the matches,
Mhm.
so we all think Rhea's winning, right? We can all say
100%.
100%, no question.
I don't even care what the coin says. Rhea's winning.
I can
Yeah,
tell
Rhea-
so the coin has actually gone against us on both of them so far. It thinks New
That's fine.
Catch and Nia Jax is going to win. So
Damn
That's funny.
coin. So there is a
coin's
fifth
being
match.
a bit dumb.
There is a 5th match.
Is there?
We're not gonna. There's not really a way to win this match. There's no pinfall, submission, disqualification, or countout. But you have the Grayson Waller effect with Cody Rhodes
with Cody
and Seth Rollins, which is going to take up 20 minutes of the show and be essentially the 5th match. Where do you put that in? Especially because it's probably going to end up setting up the tag match at night 1 of Mania, is my guess.
I put it in right before Rhea and Nia.
So Joe, you're saying it will be the Grayson Waller effect segment, Nia, Rhea, and then the men's chamber match.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
your okay.
Yeah,
just want to make sure I'm following you.
Okay,
Sure.
so Joe has the women's, the tag, Grayson Waller,
Rhea, Nia, men's.
Rhea, Nia, and then so
It's hilarious that we're picking placement of like. It's so funny.
I mean, the thing is that there's only 4 matches, and
I know it's
so
bare bones. It's bare bones.
Well, the chamber matches are going to go a minimum half hour each.
Yeah.
Probably
Easily, yeah.
closer to 45 minutes for the men's.
I haven't seen one under 45 yet. Yeah. Except maybe the one with Shayna Baszler that might have been like 35 because she eliminated everybody.
Dude, what are you talking about? There are so many of them that have been under 45 minutes. I'm looking at the listing for every chamber match.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now. The first one was 40 minutes. It looks like the shortest chamber match ever was 15 minutes and 10 seconds.
What?
Brock Lesnar beating Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, Austin Theory, Riddle, and Seth Rollins.
My God, that was disgusting.
There was the second one was under 20 minutes.
The second shortest chamber match of all time was the Raw Women's Championship match. Raw Women's the match to get the Raw Women's Championship contender on the same card when Bianca Belair won. The very first women's chamber match was 15 minutes and 45 seconds. Bell to bell.
So that's only.
So
sorry, the second elimination
seconds.
chamber match was 19 minutes 12 seconds.
Wow, that's crazy. I never knew that.
And
I thought they were minimum of 45.
And
that was Goldberg plowing through everybody and then getting shotted and losing was the second chamber match ever.
Bad match.
And then you have the one from 2023 was 19 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, you're right. So going on to that, since we went a little out of order, we're going on to the women's chamber match.
Let's go to the women's chamber match.
I'll take it first. Honestly, my heart of heart says Becky all the way. Becky, Rhea, you got to do it now. It's the time. It's right. It's time to strike. However, there can be a very good case made for Bianca, Rhea too. They've only faced off at NXT TakeOver at one point, like 2017. This is like this I like because usually the women's is like the most easy to predict out of all of them. I would say my heart of hearts says Becky. I'm still going to go with Becky. That is my pick, by the way. Put it down. It's Becky. But I'll make the case that it could be Bianca or it could be Liv. Just those are the dark horses. It could be either or.
I agree. I think that what's interesting in this match is Becky, personal issue with Rhea. They've been building this for almost a year now. They've been teasing Becky versus Rhea. So I'm with you. I'm picking Becky. But Bianca, they're both on the video game cover. They both have talked about. I know,
that was the thing that my buddy told me. He's like, dude, they're on the video game cover.
They're both on the video game cover, and they have both talked about wanting a match against each other at Mania. Right. The story of them coming up together, now taking over the division together. Liv is on her Liv Morgan revenge tour. It's a built-in story. It's right there. But even like Raquel has major history with Rhea. She's coming back after her her condition that she's. Naomi, if you want to shock everybody, Naomi's big return, immediately getting hot-shotted in the Mania main event would be great. I think Tiffany's the only one that I don't see a good story reason in any way, shape, or form. However, I think it's going to come down to Becky versus Liv or Becky versus Tiffany. And Tiffany and Becky has been, they got the NXT title rivalry. They can build off of. They have recent history. I think Tiffany is going to look like a star in this, but I think you'll have Tiffany versus Liv coming out of this match, and I think you have Bianca going on to Jade at Mania.
I didn't think about Jade in the wings.
Oh, the tease at the Rumble, man, that was everything. And I would not be shocked if Jade doesn't make an appearance in Australia. She might make an appearance in Australia and cost Bianca somehow, some way.
My whole thing is like, Becky is the obvious choice, which is why Triple H has the best track record of being like, oh, Joe thinks it's going to be this, I'm going to fucking swerve him. Like every time. So like, and I like it too, because it's fun. I don't like being able to know exactly what's going to happen. I do get a little bit of joy out of being like, oh, I'm that good and I understand what the business is. But like, I love when I'm shocked. I like to be shocked for a reason to be shocked. I don't want to be shocked just for the hell of being shocked. Like, I just don't want Tiffany Stratton to win it just because. I think she's going to look like a star in there. I think she's going to have the spots of the night that's going to make her stand out, but she's not ready yet. And like Naomi, she just came back. I don't think she's ready yet either. But I will say Bianca, though, it's really tough to disagree with Bianca. One, considering the fact she was at the WrestleMania press conference. Two, she's on the video game. And three, she's got way more of an edge to her now. She's almost a heel. She's straight up almost a heel. Like on Raw, she was like...
Yeah, but she needs to go full heel. She needs to go full heel for me.
I would love her to go full heel.
Now, Alex, like, where do you fall on this one?
Oh, Becky. I've actually written down all of my predictions already because I didn't want to be swayed on what you were saying.
I can't go against Becky. I love Becky. I adore Becky.
The reason I think it's Becky is again, bear in mind, I'm strictly a catch up on YouTube.
You are.
Every YouTube short and clip that they have shown regarding Elimination Chamber and Mania has been Rhea Becky. Mm-hmm. If it's not Becky, it's either a brilliant swerve or it's going to be like I feel like not paying off what they've done is going to be foolish. Now I don't know what the shows have been like, what other rivalries have been coming in, but for the same reason I'm confident that Rhea's not losing to Nia Jax, it's the same reason I'm confident that Becky's going to win. They've been building that up. Like Rhea's already said, I'm rooting for you to win the main event or to win the Rumble so that I'll face you at Mania. So Rhea wants Becky. Becky clearly wants Rhea. There's an unfinished business there.
Yeah. I think it's a case of do it now or don't do it, where they're going to lose it if they don't do it.
Yeah.
So, like, just do it. And I do think, Matthew, it's going to come down to Liv and Becky with a heartbreaker for Liv. That's how I feel.
I think it'd be a great way to end it if that's how they go. Yeah. But yeah. All right. So we're all in agreement. It's going to be Becky. Yeah. So does that mean we only have one match left?
We do. Yeah. The random number generator also think it's going to be Becky.
There you go. Well done, random generator. Yeah. Way smarter than that coin. Random generator. Let me tell you.
Only two sides.
All right. So as I said, I've already written down who my pick is.
This one's tough for me. This one's honestly tough.
Well, Alex, you've already written it down, so you go first.
You go first, Alex.
I think it's
This
Drew
way
McIntyre.
we can't possibly sway you. Drew
No.
McIntyre. All right.
Yeah, I think it's Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
And
Joe?
part of the ironic reason, other than everything else that's been going on, but the Elimination Chamber posters have both. If you look at them and count from left to right going across, they've got both Becky and Drew in the same position.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
good call. Good call.
Look at you.
Sleuthing it.
I love this. I love murder board Alex over here.
Yeah.
Just like he's checking like the exact positioning of where people are on the poster.
Now,
he's looking at
if you're looking
the
at the
images
chamber
that
itself
show up on YouTube.
Yeah, see, Becky's is in the front and everyone else stands behind her, and in the men's it's Randy Orton in the front and everyone's behind her. But I still don't see. Again, with everything that's been going on, Drew stepping up, I think it's going to be Drew taking on Seth Rollins.
So I honestly, if I can jump next, Matthew, since he's the guest, he'll go last. I honestly think the most explanation and sense goes to Drew McIntyre. I think Drew McIntyre deserves it on so many levels. One, I want to see him get a big match in front of a live crowd. He did get one essentially against Bobby Lashley. Let's not discount that, but I want a real one. Two, he's doing the work of his career right now to the point where his RIP CM Punk shirts with the tombstone are outselling so many things besides R-Truth. And I just think I think we can all agree Seth is not walking out of WrestleMania as champion. Hook by crook. He's not. It's to get him to WrestleMania, to get him out and get him healthy thing. I do think he's going to be in a tag match, Matthew. I do think he's going to be in the tag match night one, but I think that tag match is going to be, a lot of smoke and mirrors and whatnot for both Seth and The Rock. But I think Drew McIntyre takes it. However, this is confusing for me. You could make a case for Randy Orton easily. Very easy, you can make a case for Randy Orton. And then there's a small part of me outside of the smart that says, nah, LA Knight's going against Logan Paul, but no question. There's a small part of me that says, well, what if they give it to LA Knight and turn him heel and then have him go against Seth Rollins? I'm like, it's just, this one's really tough for me to choose. I'm going to go with Drew, just like Alex, but it's very, very apprehensively because, I'm not 100% confident. I'm not like, oh, yeah, it's Drew, and we're just going to watch and see how it plays out. No, I think there's a case for Andy. There's a case for LA Knight. And then who else is in it? Kevin Owens is a no. Logan Paul, I can't see happening.
I could see Logan Paul happening. Because Logan Paul lost to him last year at Mania.
Right.
But this time, Logan's coming for Seth's title. He is a champ. The social media, the footprints outside traditional media would be enormous.
Who's the other person, though? Who's the fifth?
Bobby Lashley.
So,
Bobby Lashley. No chance.
Here's what's fascinating to me on this one. So I agree. Drew is the obvious choice, right?
And I think it's the one they should go with, to be honest.
And here's the thing. If you look at all the guys in this match, there's an argument to be made that they all serve Drew's story. So LA Knight is the flash in the pan who jumped ahead of the line, keeping Drew from ever getting his rematch from Clash of the Castle, being disrespectful, all that stuff. Kevin Owens doesn't like Drew McIntyre. Logan Paul is he's only there for his social media star power, so Drew doesn't think he deserves a shot. And then you have the two guys that feuded with Drew when Drew was champ. You have Bobby Lashley and Randy Orton. Both of them beat him for the title, and then he won it back from Orton at one point. So those three guys in there really tell a whole different kind of story to serve Drew. But here's the thing. If Drew wins the big one here to get to Mania, his character is he's the guy that always comes up short and has a reason to whine about it. If he wins, he doesn't have a reason to whine about it. So
no,
I'm not saying he doesn't end up. I'm not saying he doesn't end up in the match. I just don't know if it's here or if he's gotta essentially whine his way into a spot the way that he criticizes everyone else from doing it. That's my question with this one.
I think my question with this is like, whoever gets this, it's not like it's a one-on-one. You're not getting a one-on-one with Seth Rollins at Mania. I think it's going to be a fatal four-way with Seth Rollins at Mania at the end.
Also,
you're going to get your spot.
I think Bobby Lashley's a weird one here. Bobby doesn't have momentum. Bobby doesn't have anything really going for him right now. So for him to be in this is weird. If you were going to pull a Kofi Kingston and Edge, I could see something happens, like Final Testament jumps Bobby backstage, and then all of a sudden there's a last-minute curveball. Somebody else goes in there. Drew loses his crap about it. I could see a swerve like that happening in this because Bobby sticks out like a sore thumb here. He really does.
Really does. Yeah, I agree.
Kevin is feuding with Logan Paul, so I get it.
Yeah.
Logan Paul being in there, I get it. He's got the history with Seth. LA Knight's on the meteoric rise, makes sense. Randy Orton, the returning, conquering, fan sentimental favorite. I get it. Drew, I get it. Bobby, there could be something weird happening with Bobby. Just keep an eye on Bobby because he is truly an outlier in this match. So I'm gonna go with Drew. I'm gonna agree with you both.
With Drew too. I'm going with Drew.
I if nothing else, I want it for Drew. To your point, Alex, he's doing the work of his career. To your point, Joe, he is selling more merchandise than almost anybody else right now with that
He's
shirt.
In third.
And,
He's in third.
And my gosh, the amount of if you keep an eye on social media, he's staying in character. He's doing some incredible promos.
Love it.
He's doing incredible promo. Like Drew has figured it out. He has really figured out how to utilize social media to keep telling the story 24/7 and keep serving people the content.
I think
he's done it. Becky's done it. Logan's done it. Yeah. Incredible.
I think this will be very telling for Drew McIntyre going forward. If he doesn't win this, I think there's a very big question mark about him being with WWE after WrestleMania since his contract runs out the day after. I think it's possible.
I think the fact that he is clearly building to a feud 6 months down the line with CM Punk means he's absolutely re-signed with the company.
Which I hope so.
Yeah, I think they probably kept it very quiet because again, not knowing that someone's re-signed adds to the mystique of not knowing what's going on.
Guys, that's it. What if Drew wins this and Drew goes to Mania and Drew claims he never signed a contract and he says, I'm going to do what CM Punk did in 2011. I'm going to win that title and I'm going to leave the company with your precious World Heavyweight Championship.
Oh, that would be
because when the clock strikes midnight, I'm going to out CM Punk one more way by winning the main event of WrestleMania, winning the world title.
Do you know what would be
CM Punk would cost him it for sure?
You know what would be even better than that is if he then defended it on TNA.
Oh yeah,
because Triple H is clearly open to working with TNA.
They have a working agreement with Impact.
Like that would be absolutely brilliant if they had worked out, hey, we're still paying Drew, he's still under our contract, but let him show up a couple of times on TNA Impact or whatever, defend the belt, and then he'll come back and
Drew's a former TNA Impact champion.
Mm-hmm.
He was Drew Galloway.
That's what made
held the title there. Imagine he goes back with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Be pretty amazing.
That's his real name.
Or if he goes to All Japan Wrestling with the title, because now NXT has started up a relationship with All Japan. Like there's You want to be. Drew could say, "I'm a true world heavyweight champion. Look
Yep.
at all the places I'm going with this title."
Exactly.
Could be
I guess
amazing.
the WWE cynic in me is that Drew wins it at WrestleMania, but Damian cashes in on Drew immediately.
Absolutely,
That's the way
could
I
happen.
see it.
And that's
Absolutely.
easily
and that's how Drew.
and that's just it. Like if Drew hasn't signed a contract, that's how they get it off him. Is, hey, we're gonna give you the moment
Sure.
on your way out, but Damien's gonna cash in. I think the reason you've got LA Knight and Logan Paul in here is that you're gonna set up the match for Mania.
I think they're tailor made for a one-on-one at Mania with just the social media stuff alone.
Absolutely. I think
and
that's
Logan
what you're
Paul
going to
has
see.
stated in interviews he wants to wrestle LA Knight
2 times.
Like he has said he wants to wrestle LA Knight.
Yep.
I think Logan Paul will drop the title to LA Knight at Mania.
Oh yeah, and LA Knight
absolutely
said it. I agree. Chris Van Vliet too. He was like, I don't know, who knows? Maybe I go against Logan Paul. I don't know what's going on. The gears are moving.
Yeah.
So the fact that they've been even breadcrumbing it, I think that's possible. But so we've got all our picks. Everything's locked in. I do want to ask you guys before we come to a close. I think I've asked Alex this already, but Matthew, I got to ask you. Do you think The Rock is truly a heel, or do you believe into this theory that he's trying to destroy the bloodline from the inside with putting the L up instead of putting a 1 up, and
he's destroying it from the inside. He's absolutely destroying it from the inside.
It. So you think it would go back to him and Cody whispering on that SmackDown?
Exactly. I think that's exactly what they're. I think that was the whole. I could see a scenario where they have been playing us to some extent. And you could say, Cody said, "I don't want to just take your title. I want to take everything."
I want to take everything. Yeah.
He consulted with The Rock on how to do that. The Rock says the best way is for me to enter the bloodline, destroy the bloodline from within, and then the way that Roman has won every match, Roman will lose this match to you, Cody.
Right.
And you will take it.
So weird.
I would actually be happier. Yes, I would be happier if The Rock doesn't directly interfere in the match, but just stops the Jay and Jimmy and Solo.
Oh, I think that's what'll happen. I think that's what'll happen.
I do too.
See, here's the thing. I think Rock cost them the tag match, right?
Right. I agree.
And I think Rock could turn on Roman in night 1 of Mania, and now it's Roman's got his back up against the wall. What happens
think he
now?
Won't turn on Rock. I mean, I don't think he'll turn on Roman night 1.
So
I think Rock will get pinned though.
Here's the question though: if there's a stipulation to the tag match, like Solo and Jimmy have to stay locked in a cage for the entire match. So, not even the whole band from ringside, but they show up anyway, but literally lock them in a cage if the Rock and Roman lose. And then they go around, have a bit of a scuffle, then all of a sudden Rock just lays down.
Like Kevin Nash type of thing?
Like Kevin Nash type of thing, yep.
Yeah, finger poke of doom idea.
Yeah.
I don't see it like that. I see it that The Rock gets pinned. And night 2, the bloodline, Heyman's panicking backstage, like, where is The Rock? Where's your cousin? Where's this? Where's that? And then The Rock finally comes out to join them at the entrance, like when Roman gets down there and they're like, whew, breathing a sigh of relief and it's all elation. And then Cody's going to have to give Roman, let's face it, 4 or 5 crossroads to win the title on this one. And it's going to come down to Solo again, which we all malign because we hate it so much. It's the worst ending ever, is that thumb of doom. And I think he'll go up to do it to Cody again, repeat of last year's Mania, but The Rock stops him and is like, but type of deal. And, spits on the hand, slaps Solo, and then the Roman's like, what the hell type of deal. Paul's the best at selling his facial expressions, and he helps Cody finish the story. I didn't believe it at first. I was like, oh, this would be much more fun if The Rock is just truly an asshole heel. But the fact that he came out looking like Aladdin, Jafar from Aladdin, and then he put up an L. Clearly he knew he was putting up an L. He wasn't putting up a 1. That's not something you make a mistake. And then if you look back, because I've watched the promo 4 times, if you look back, he goes, I'm going to do everything in my power with The Rock's, hand motion like he always does to make you walk out of WrestleMania a loser. If you watch that promo and go back, Roman's not looking at The Rock. Roman's got the title on his shoulder and he's kind of tilting his head away and like looking at the audience. But The Rock is genuinely pointing at him. Now, you could say he's inferring to Cody, obviously, because he's talking about Cody in the monologue. But like he's pointing right at Roman.
I think that's the magic of it, is that
that's the breadcrumbs.
Yeah, because I truly think that however much of this was planned, they've had to pivot to a certain extent. Because
they've definitely pivoted. They pivoted somewhat.
They did. I don't think they had any idea how loved Cody was, and I think they are so happy for that. But I think it caught them off guard at the same time. So now they're going to probably. I think the plan ultimately was Rock was always going to cost him the win. I think they had to double down on maybe Cody challenging The Rock. Challenging Roman earlier than perhaps.
Yeah, I agree. The only question mark is how much of a hard-on do they have for Hulk Hogan's record being shattered? That's it. That's the only question in my eyes.
Nope.
I don't think
Cody's winning.
Yeah, I don't think they
winning.
have a hard. I think the hard on for Hulk Hogan's record has come more from the fans than it has.
We do.
Yeah, I agree.
They have to, because I'll say this right now: Triple H has pulled rabbits out of hats over and over and over and over. I will say this: this is the first time I can remember, except for maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin, but this is the first time I can remember that the audience is firmly in the POV of Cody. Like, we're on his story with him. We've been on it since he came back at Mania 2 years ago. Like we're in the story. This is our story too. I really think
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I think so. I think
2 years. You said it. It's a 2-year story.
Yeah, because
they already
try
had
to
to lose once at Mania. You can't do it again.
Yeah, you try to squeeze 3. I think you just risk the audience going, yeah, the hell with this. I'm not on board anymore.
I think you can't have Roman do the schedule he's done for another year.
Not with the title. Not with the title
again. Like I don't think
Cody twice in the same way on the same show. You're really going to turn the audience. Mm-hmm. Like it's the ultimate Vince McMahon move. It's, making John Cena go out and job the first match and a bunch of Make-A-Wish kids. Like, it's that. If you do that, you are truly going to turn the audience against you. Like, even I am going to be like, okay, I love Triple H. I love the WWE's, think tank. I'm not going to be on board for that. Like, I'm going to be like, what is your magic? Like, do you have another cousin coming up? Like
I think, well, I mean, they do.
They have several cousins.
I know they got Jacob Fatu. I know.
So
I met another one at the Ring Fest I was at.
Yeah,
he's like the second one under Jacob. I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, do you guys have TV in Samoa? Like, your parents just had no television, and he laughed his ass off.
I think the thing is, this is one of the few matches that, yes, they're building to it well, but if there's any kind of shenanigans in terms of the result not going the way the fans expect, right, I think it doesn't matter how good the story is going to be for the next year.
Yeah. Yep.
Your two years is a long time in wrestling.
Very.
I think that the patience of fans is starting to wear out. They want something new. Like, Roman's an attraction, right? There's no denying that Roman is an attraction. He makes money.
He is 100%.
But, and I say this from my perspective, I'm tired of hearing about Roman as champion when I don't see him defending the belt.
I'm noticing the casual fan experience, because I've talked to a lot of them this weekend, is exactly your POV, Alex. Like, I respect the long term and the dynasty. I mean, come on, I come from the Tom Brady era. I respect dynasties that are hated and whatever. I respect it. But even I'm like, I get where you're coming from. And in wrestling terms, 2 years is like 10, because everything's in a hyper chamber. Everything is sped up. 2 years is easily like 10 these days with the amount of content you've got going on. So it feels like eons that Roman's done everything. There's nowhere left for him to go. He's after he broke 1,000, I was like, well, that's really it, right? Like what other
Yeah.
everything else is just gravy. And like if you have him break again at Mania with like Solo, even somebody threw out the thing, well now The Rock is part of the board and they can use him as an authority figure. Yeah, but I don't think you can carry that magic till next year's Mania without the people going, you know what, the hell with this. What else is on? Because
I think we'll get a Rock versus Roman match. It just
Oh,
won't be
we
for the
will.
title.
I'm thinking
You
either
know,
SummerSlam or 41. It's either one of the two.
and it could look. There's still story with Solo. At what point does Solo break out and turn on Roman? You can break him out at some point. That's going to be a fun story to tell.
But the Rock versus Roman always should be
but
for the
Rock
head of the
Roman,
table. That's it.
that's the
not
one.
for the title. You
Mhm.
know, blood begets
It
blood.
does not need to be.
Right. Blood begets blood. Blood costs him the belt. Again, like you said, they're so smart. Like, I mean, maybe years before I'd be like, oh, they don't know what the hell they're doing. This regime and this think tank is so smart. They put breadcrumbs in your way on purpose. The fact that they had Cody say, I'm going to take everything from you. Like, what is everything? Let's put it that way. What is it? It's Roman's title, it's his pride, it's his allure, his mystique, it's everything. What better way to do that than, well, I did it with your own family twisting the knife because it's the only one that could get close. And the way they're telling the story is, like, isn't it kind of uncharacteristic of Roman Reigns in this incarnation to be like, yeah, I totally trust you, man. Come on in. Like, he's so like joyed to have The Rock on his side. The character of Roman Reigns that they've built, it's kind of uncharacteristic for him to be like, I don't know, Paul, I don't trust this guy. He's so on board though. He's like, yeah, let him in. You know, I'll walk behind him, all this and that. So it just works on so many levels. And honestly, Cody is what they needed. Cody, I think, and this is probably going to be a really big hot take, but Cody is what they probably wish they had with John Cena, but they have.
I
now.
don't think that's a hot take.
No, they have a
I think
champion
it's a super hot take.
who can wrestle, who is beloved, who is company. There's so many factors of this man.
The
He's
thing is,
all
Cody
upside.
John
Cody
Cena
is
was
what-
all of those
Sorry,
things.
go ahead.
It's just John Cena was all of those things. It's just when people were tired of him, they didn't refresh his gimmick.
His booking's just atrocious. His booking. I love John Cena. He's easily one of the greatest of all time. I will not let anyone put, dirt on his name and say he's not one of the greatest. He is. I don't care. He is. But his Super Cena booking was just to the point where it just beat it into the ground. And like Cody, I think they've got something organic where, like Alex, you and I have talked about it, where if they had let Cody win at Mania last year, I maintain that the fickle WWE universe would have turned on him by SummerSlam. They would have turned on this white meat babyface by SummerSlam. But the way you built him now, you've put like longevity and like heart behind him. Like, we're in it to win it with him. I think you aren't going to have a WWE universe that's going to turn on him right away. And I think the fact that he ends Roman will be refreshing for us. The only thing is, how does Seth come out of it? Which means I think Seth has to lose naturally to refresh that and reboot that. Because if you're going to have Cody go on a long tear, I think you got to start playing hot potato with the other belt.
I think I can't see Cody holding it for too long. I think they're going to hot potato the belts for a little bit, even if it goes back to Cody and opponent. I don't think you're going to see Cody hold the belt for a super.
I think
long
Cody
time.
will, if he gets it at Mania, I think he'll hold it clear at least till the beginning of the year.
He might defend it at Mania next year. I don't think he's going to hold it for the entire year.
I think he'll defend it the entire year. I think you're going to see.
I think we're going to find out.
Yeah.
But I do think you're going to get Seth Rollins is going to go on a vacay. I think he's overdue.
He needs it.
It needs a reset. And like I said, I don't think whoever the Elimination Chamber match winner is going to be the final opponent of him at WrestleMania. If any match has multi-man written all over it, it's the world title with Seth Rollins, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because
that's
there's
fair.
too many stories, too many avenues.
I will say this. I think Cody Rhodes is the baby face that Vince McMahon wanted Roman Reigns to be.
100%.
And I think that's one of the reasons it is poetically
I think it's
perfect
going to be hilarious.
for
It's
Cody
gonna
to
be
be the
hilarious.
one to beat
Yeah.
Roman for that title as
I
the
think it's
big
gonna be
company baby face.
It's going to be hilarious. He's the most deserving. I will say this, like, as a genuine Cody fan, as a genuine fan of him as a human being, I think there's no better option for you if Roman's going to take a break, then why not give it to Cody? Cody is your guy.
So
Well,
I think it's amusing that this was an elimination chamber prediction
so
show.
short.
It was going to be short. There was four and a half matches for argument's sake. We've got them down. The coin / random number generator for the record picked Randy for the elimination for men's.
okay.
Happen.
Honestly, I put up random number generator between 1 and 6, and then just hit it 10 times, and whatever the last one was what won.
Yeah.
So I think it's amusing that at this point, while this might be a good pay-per-view or PLE, we're still talking about Mania at the end of it. So
yeah,
it's one of those things where, like, well, this is going to happen, but what does that mean for this? And I think that's what makes it more exciting is we're on the road to WrestleMania. Whatever
the road I have found throughout my years of watching wrestling, just in my opinion, and then this will be what I end on because I think I just looked at the clock that we've gone over about an hour and 6 minutes.
Yeah.
I usually think when it's done right, the road is way more exciting than the actual Mania event itself. Like the road, the setting up the bricks is always the most fun. That's why I adore the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. It's my favorite of all time. It's because it's that setup. It's that building block to Mania that I'm like, oh, it's just so exciting. Because, things are coming. But, like, man, there's nothing like the Royal Rumble. That's the way I feel.
The road to Philly goes through Perth this Saturday, 5 a.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. Pacific. I believe it's 6 p.m. Local time
I think it's 6
Perth.
p.m. Perth. Yeah.
Something like that. And I can't wait to find out if we took a wrong turn or if we hit every single turn the right way after Saturday, and to come back with you guys and not only wrap up EC but start talking. Okay, this is our Mania.
Because think about it, we've got 2 nights of Mania to predict. So like, get the cup of coffee and
we're gonna need 2 shows, one for each night.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
We can do that.
I'm watching this thing live. I will not spoil it for anybody. I will.
I'm not
quietly.
I'm not waking up that time. Full disclosure, by the time this show comes out, Elimination Chamber has already happened.
Okay.
So there is an excellent chance that people have been listening to us the last hour like, you are all idiots. It was this. How could you get this so wrong?
I think that's part of the fun.
I agree.
It's very fun.
Because we'll be doing the same thing.
This is actually the first event that we've done this that we all agree on all of the picks.
Every match we agreed on
every match. The only thing we've disagreed on is the order in the matches.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, I think that means we're going to be wrong on every single match, guys.
I said, Triple H has the best track record of being the hell with you,
Joe.
guys.
I know
you
said this is like a really hard PLE to predict. I feel the opposite. Like, I feel like other than the Judgment Day and New Catch,
we're wrong.
Quite possibly. But again, like, so much of this is like, I
Becky,
feel
I will hang my hat on. I really think there's just no other time than now for Becky.
Yeah, and the same for me. It's the same with Drew. Like, I can see stories for the others coming out. Bobby Lashley is just the sore thumb, but again, like Matthew said, could be shenanigans.
I just want Drew. Drew deserves it, man. I mean, the guy's busted.
I'm 100% predicting Drew with my heart more than anything.
Same.
All right. So on that note, because we're going to keep talking forever.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
abrupt ending. Enjoy the music. You know where to find us. There is a links to Matthew's comic books, his Twix handles and everything in the show notes.
Many thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. I actually have a set Matthew Klein template post that goes that I have now as well, because we do this enough. So yeah, that's enjoy the music.
Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.